Badi's 100 days report card.
NMS has completed 30% of all the roads.
President Uhuru Kenyatta lauds the Nairobi Metropolitan Service for improving service delivery in the city. The president was receiving the 100 days performance report from the Mohamed Badi-led NMS. Conspicuously missing from the event at Harambee House was Nairobi Governor Mike Sonko. Also tonight, reggae did not stop. The steering committee on the implementation of the Building Bridges initiative has finalized the validation of the BBI report and is ready to present it to President Uhuru Kenyatta and opposition leader Raila Odinga. The report may have to wait though, since Mr. Odinga is currently in Dubai for medical treatment. The reggae continues. Plus,
we have 2 cases.
Yes, 2 MPs are sick. The National Assembly Speaker Justin Muturi admits 2 parliamentarians are currently in hospital after contracting COVID-19. One of them is in ICU. The Speaker did not disclose how many other MPs have been ordered to go on self or forced quarantine. The cover-up here tonight. And bleak justice for COVID-19 atrocities.
Housing is your first defense against this virus.
Only 3 cases out of 10 people killed by the police during the coronavirus pandemic are actively being followed by human rights activists. Many people, including victims of forced eviction, may not live to see justice for their rights that were violated during the pandemic. The details here tonight.
This is TV47 News Tonight with Abubakar Abdullahi.
TV47 News Tonight with me, Abubakar Abdullahi, begins right now. And Wairimu is our sign language interpreter to our top story. Now, the number of COVID-19 cases has risen to 6,366 after 176 more people tested positive in the last 24 hours. In the spread across counties, Nairobi County is leading with 99 of the new cases, Mombasa registering 20, Kiambu 17, Migori 13, Uasin Gishu County 10, Kajiado and Busia counties 4, Kilifi 3, Makueni 2, and the counties of Machakos, Narok, Kisumu and Kakamega reporting 1 case each. 26 more people have been discharged from various hospitals across the country, whereas 4 more people have succumbed to the virus. Elsewhere, National Assembly Speaker Justin Muturi has today confirmed that 2 members of Parliament have tested positive for COVID-19 and are receiving treatment in hospital. This is following recent reports claiming that more than 6 MPs had contracted the virus. Zainab Mohammed begins our broadcast tonight.
After public uproar over 6 parliamentarians contracting COVID-19, National Assembly Speaker Justin Muturi has finally cleared the air on the matter. The Speaker confirmed that indeed 2 parliamentarians have tested positive for the virus.
As of today, June 30th, 2020, far from the speculations reported in the media and elsewhere, information available to the Office of the Speaker indicates that we have 2 cases of the virus that have been reported among members of Parliament.
According to Speaker Muturi, one of the affected parliamentarians has since tested negative after receiving treatment, whereas the other is currently admitted in hospital.
One of the affected members has been attended to and has since been discharged from hospital after testing negative following treatment. The member is currently in self-isolation. The other case has also been attended to, and the member is now in stable condition in the general ward care.
Muturi further urged members of Parliament and their staff to voluntarily avail themselves for COVID-19 testing due to the rapid spread of the virus.
If a member of Parliament or staff has come into contact with a COVID-19 case or suspected case, they are advised to undertake the voluntary testing as responsible citizens. Depending on the results, one is advised to self-isolate and notify the Speaker's office immediately.
On the media uproar over the release of a list of COVID-19 infected parliamentarians, the Speaker says MPs are citizens like any other person in Kenya and their confidentiality is to be protected according to the law.
From the daily briefings from the Ministry of Health, it is obvious that the cases are rising in the country and no one is immune when exposed to the virus, not even members of Parliament who also live among the communities.
Speaker Muturi also suspended physical parliamentary committee sittings as a way of containing the spread of the virus. For TV47, I'm Zainab Mohammed.
Moving on, President Uhuru Kenyatta has praised the Nairobi Metropolitan Services for work well done 100 days after the office was established. President Kenyatta noted an improvement in service delivery in Nairobi, attributing it to the Nairobi Metropolitan Services Office. Mwangi Maina with the details.
While receiving the report on 100 days of the Nairobi Metropolitan Services in office, President Uhuru Kenyatta expressed satisfaction with the progress made by the Mohamed Badi-led team in implementing directives read out to the office on its inauguration on 18th of March this year.
Indeed, Director General, I am gratified that the directives for the first 100 days have indeed been implemented in earnest. Progress has been made in the areas of implementing the Nairobi Urban Mobility Plan, effecting the non-motorized transport strategy, reviewing the development approvals process.
President Uhuru Kenyatta challenged Major General Mohamed Badi and his team to improve the status of the city under the sun to become a model city. He also exuded confidence in the agency in regeneration of the tainted city.
By doing so, we will ensure that Nairobi's prosperity will leave no one behind, and we will all make our beloved city a tourist haven with opportunities for everyone, thus making Nairobi a globally competitive city as well as a regional hub.
Major General Mohamed Badi emphasized the agency's determination to implement its mandate in transforming the city. He noted that the agency has provided employment opportunities to the youth in informal settlements and street families in Nairobi.
NMS has completed 30% of all the roads and is using Kazi Mtaani initiative, which you started, sir. To this end, NMS has engaged our youth in drainage clearing, waste management and rehabilitation of roads.
He noted that 30% of roads in Nairobi have so far been recarpeted and they are gearing up for more development projects.
Construction of roads in Mukuru informal settlement is ongoing through improvement of Mukuru informal sectors. Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, the directives to environment and water and sanitation has been achieved within 100 days, with the first one being operationalization of effective garbage collection and disposal method.
The president later toured some projects implemented by the NMS in Mathare and Kibera, including sinking boreholes and construction of water purification facilities. Nairobi Governor Mike Sonko was conspicuously missing during the handover of the report on 100 days of office of NMS. Nairobi Senator Johnson Sakaja and a host of other leaders were present. Mwangi Maina, TV47, Nairobi.
Elsewhere, the proposal by the Treasury to reduce a county's allocation budget by 46 billion shillings continues to elicit mixed reaction, as 18 counties are expected to lose if the report is adopted. On the other hand, 29 counties are expected to gain from additional funding. Joash Onsare tells us more.
The recommendations on county allocation bill that was to be tabled in the floor of the Senate has been postponed to next week.
Report in the form it is cannot be tabled in this house today.
According to Lusaka, the report has not met the consensus and the members will conduct a private meeting on Monday for the senators to understand the report before it is eventually tabled.
I am therefore directing that we have a Kamkunji on Monday so that we are taken through the report to build enough consensus to be able to table the report when we have enough consensus.
On the proposed county allocation report, Wajir County will lose 2 billion shillings, while the counties of Marsabit and Mandera will lose 1.9 billion each. The above counties and another 15 counties will have to make huge budgetary adjustment if the proposed report is adopted without amendments. So far, the leaders of the affected counties have vowed to oppose the revenue allocation proposal.
In terms of the proposed formula, I'm yet to see the proposal which will be brought on the floor of the House. But one thing is very clear. We cannot work on a radius. We cannot take the square root of the land size so that we can say distance to service. That is something which I'll completely reject.
The county of Nandi is expected to receive 1.3 billion shillings more, and Uasin Gishu County 1.1 billion shillings. Other counties that will gain include Nakuru, Kiambu, Trans Nzoia, Bungoma, Kirinyaga and Bomet.
Kubaliana maseneta wote ambao wanatoka katika taifa letu la Kenya ambao wamekuwa na watu wengi. Kwa mfano hapa Kiambu tuko na watu zaidi ya mamilioni, hapa Nairobi na watu wanahitaji huduma. Si kuweka kule mashamba, na heshimu wale wenzetu ambao wanasema wako na mashamba kwa sababu watu wanaishi mbali mbali, lakini lazima tuelewa kwamba huduma inaenda kwa watu na watu ndio wanahitaji huduma, si mambo ya land size.
The Senate Finance Committee is yet to determine if they will use the county population or the needs of the people pegged against health or agriculture parameters. Treasury CS Ukuru Yatani wants the county budget to be reduced by 46 billion shillings in keeping with reduced revenue collection due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Joash Onsare, TV47, Nairobi.
Elsewhere, at least 10 people have been killed during the implementation of curfew restrictions. Human rights lobbyists have linked police officers to the killings. And as Eli Logova now reports, only 3 out of the 10 cases are being prosecuted.
The excessive use of force by police officers enforcing COVID-19 curfew regulations has been blamed for the killings of the 10. But out of the 10, only 3 cases are being prosecuted in court. The Kenya National Human Rights Commission in its report further says 87 cases of assault have been reported.
However, from our documentation, we realized that these rights were actually violated, where we recorded 10 cases of death caused by the police during the enforcement of the various prevention and control measures, but also 87 cases of torture that were perpetuated on members of the public in the process of enforcing the various directives.
The report further states that many of the cases took place in Nairobi, where hundreds of people have been left homeless after their houses were demolished.
Housing is your first defense against this virus. So they've actually called, specifically on Kenya, the High Commissioner for Human Rights, on the suspensions of all forms of evictions during this pandemic, because we all know the effect that it has in terms of the risk of contracting the virus, but also that it disproportionately targets and impacts women. We saw women being raped during the evictions in Kariobangi, persons with disability, children.
Meanwhile, a research by TIFA indicates 69% of Nairobians have reported reduced earnings as a result of the ongoing pandemic. 43% have lost their jobs, while 94% have reduced their expenditure on foods and drinks. Only 6% of cities' low-income earners are able to have a saving, while 80% were able to have a saving before the pandemic. 20% have reduced their rent expenditure, 18% have reduced clothing expenditure, with 10% reducing their expenditure on transport and entertainment. If the virus persists, 42% of those living in low-income areas are at a risk of facing hunger, 28% may lose their source of income, 9% will not be able to pay rent, as 6% fear that their children will not be able to attend school, while 4% feel there will be an increase in crimes in the city. The interviews were conducted in Mathare, Kawangware, Kibra, Korogosho, Huruma and Mukuru kwa Njenga. Eli Logova, TV47, Nairobi.
Thank you, Eli Logova, for that report. Elsewhere, 24 people have been quarantined in Makueni County after they were suspected to have defied government directives and traveled from Mombasa to Makueni. The 24 have, however, denied the allegations, claiming that they were traveling from Wote in Makueni County.
The 24 were quarantined after being suspected that they had traveled from Mombasa County. Police officers in Makueni County intercepted a vehicle ferrying the 24 passengers in Makueni County.
Jana tuliweza kushika matatu ambayo ilikuwa na abiria 24 katika sehemu za Mkuyuni, na sisi kama kamati tumesema wale si watu wa kuwapembeleza ati waende wafanye mambo ya quarantine katika manyumbani yao. Wote tunakusanya na tunawapeleka KMTC Makindu, ile mandatory quarantine, ndio wawe mfano kwa wengine.
However, the passengers have denied the allegations, claiming that they came from the Wote area in Makueni County.
Mimi nilitoka nyumbani hapa kwa asubuhi, nikaenda Makueni hospitali. Kutoka hospitali nikirudi nikakuja stage nikapata gari hii ambayo tumepanda hapa. Kukuja kufika hapa Mkuyuni, polisi wakasimamisha, wakatuambia tunatoka Mombasa na tumetoka Makueni. Sisi wote hapa tumetoka Makueni. Sasa naona wanasema ati tumetoka Mombasa, na mimi hata Mombasa sijaikanyaga kama mtu.
The passengers are now calling on the county government of Makueni to release them, saying they are innocent.
Sasa tunauliza, kulikuwa na road blocks, si ndio? Mali hii gari ilitoka, zilipitia aje huko kitambo ifike huku Wote? Hiyo ndio sisi tunataka.
Makueni County has recorded more than 10 positive cases of COVID-19, with Kivutha Kibwana saying that the number of healthcare workers has been increased in a bid to curb the spread of COVID-19.
Watu 50,000 tayari wamekuwa capacity built, wakajua hii mambo ya COVID, dalili za ugonjwa ni nini kifanye mtu aepuke. Wanafunzwa mambo ya wale wako most vulnerable, kama wale ni wazee, ni mgonjwa wa kisukari, hypertension, wana ujuzi wa kujua jinsi kimaisha watu wako katika household. Ndio tuwe sasa kuna wale wanatusaidia kuangalia kila household kukiwa kuna shida, hata hizi mambo za tracing na nini.
Mwangi Maina, TV47, Nairobi.
Thank you, Mwangi Maina, for that report. Elsewhere, President Uhuru Kenyatta has this evening signed into law the 2020-2021 budget. That 3.2 trillion budget contains a 56 billion shillings post-COVID-19 economic stimulus package. It also contains an allocation of 128.3 billion shillings to the government's Big Four agenda. Some of the amendments in the Finance Act include the zero rating of VAT on maize, cassava, and wheat for 6 months. The new Finance Act also extends the zero rating of VAT on cooking gas for 1 year. Well, it's 18 minutes past the hour. Time for us to take a short break. Remember, you are watching TV47 News Tonight with me, Abubakar Abdullahi. I will be back after this break. Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us on TV47 News Tonight with me, Abubakar Abdullahi. Let's get to more news. Now, the role of songs in the society remains unending. A bill of 2019 has continued to elicit mixed reaction, with religious leaders opposing the Susan Kihika-sponsored bill. Muslim leaders now claim that the bill's provision of termination of pregnancy is meant to provide a cover for abortion, which is illegal in Kenya. Muhammad Ali tells us more.
The Supreme Council of Kenya Muslim National Chairman Al-Haj Hassan Ole Nado has called for the withdrawal of the reproductive health care bill that is being sponsored by Nakuru Senator Susan Kihika. The council is opposing the bill, saying it is against constitutional principles and on religious grounds.
Having considered the bill comprehensively, do hereby totally reject the Reproductive Health Care Bill 2019.
The Muslim leadership urged the government to engage with religious and other stakeholders when coming up with new policies that are touching on religious issues.
The Muslim leadership also called for the government to shelve or withdraw the National Adolescent Sexual and Reproductive Health Policy of 2015 and re-engage religious and all other stakeholders in coming up with a new policy that is religious-friendly and cognizant of our cultural values as Kenyans protect our moral fabric.
Their sentiments were echoed by church leaders in Embu who are also opposing the bill.
Naona majusi kuna mjadala ambao inapelekwa bunge ya Senate juu ya mafundisho ya sex na kuavya mimba. Kwa hivyo ninasema kanisa ni vizuri wapewe na nafasi hata wanapopeleka mijadala kama hii.
I do not support the bill that is being brought by the Honorable Susan Kihika and company that supports abortion. I want to say Kenya is mainly a Christian nation and Muslim, and we believe that life begins at conception.
Mohammed Ali, TV47.
Elsewhere, members of Kirinyaga County Assembly have slashed the entire budget of the county secretary. The MCAs have also allocated 15.6 million shillings to the office of the deputy governor after Waiguru's office failed to allocate any coin to the office. This deepens the rift between the county boss and the MCAs. Moige William reports.
The rift between Kirinyaga County Assembly and Governor Anne Mumbi Waiguru deepened after the MCAs slashing the county secretary office budget from 111 million Kenya shillings to zero. The MCAs have also slashed the executive legal fees from 60 million Kenya shillings to only 1 million Kenya shillings. According to the Assembly, legal fees were meant to pay for a lawyer who represented the embattled governor in the Senate during the impeachment motion, among other legal undertakings. Budget Committee Chairman David Madenge revealed that the Assembly has diverted 110 Kenya million shillings to the Education Department for bursary.
It's too unfortunate that they can consider putting 60 million shilling to go to the lawyers of the county government of Kirinyaga and considering only 30 million shilling that is meant to go to bursaries.
By slashing the county secretary budget to zero, the Assembly paralyzed the office which is the fulcrum of the county government affairs. The slashed money was directed towards ward-based projects for construction of roads, dispensaries and water projects.
I just want to urge my fellow members to stay put, because very soon there will be a court case because of giving bursary, because of giving ward-based projects, because of giving water and loans more money.
The county executive had proposed zero amount to the deputy governor's office, but they went ahead and allocated 15.6 million Kenya shillings as per 2019-2020 budget. The deputy governor has been at loggerhead with the governor since the MCAs started the impeachment process, with the governor accusing him of supporting the impeachment motion. Another loser is the County Communication Directorate, which earlier this year was disbanded by the Assembly for what was claimed was propaganda for the county and got zero allocation. 90 million Kenya shillings proposed for furniture was also asked from the budget.
We were never guided maybe to know how much they've spent, how much they need to complete this project.
The MCAs, however, allocated 200 million Kenya shillings for ward-based projects and 140 million for bursaries under the Education Department. The MCAs also allocated 116 million Kenya shillings to fight COVID-19 pandemic in the county.
We've agreed as an assembly that we'll be writing to the controller of budget, telling the control of budget not to consider paying on any vote that has not been sanctioned by the County Assembly of Kirinyaga.
Majority Leader Kamau Morango has said that they faced a lot of challenges during the budget making as the executive refused to cooperate.
As we try to make an informed budget, the office of the governor and the CC member for Kirinyaga continue to frustrate us, the same they did in the Senate, by failure and willingly not providing the document needed for that purpose, Mr. Speaker.
He said that they requested a cash book to guide them, but the executive became adamant and refused to cooperate.
As we stand now, Mr. Speaker, we have been asking for other supporting documents like cash book, Mr. Speaker, but the cash book has been very difficult to get, Mr. Speaker, because I think the rot is hidden in the cash book, Mr. Speaker.
Moige William, TV47.
Now, the steering committee on the implementation of the Building Bridges initiative says its report is ready. The committee, whose mandate lapsed today, will, however, have wait longer before presenting its report to President Uhuru Kenyatta and ODM boss Raila Odinga, since Odinga is out of the country for medication. Elizabeth Mutuku reports.
The Haji-led committee says the report is ready for presentation to President Uhuru Kenyatta and ODM leader Raila Odinga. However, sources within the committee indicates that it has been seeking a month extension to agree on a number of contested issues. The contested issues, among them the structure of governance. The team's mandate came to an end on Tuesday and was to present its report to President Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga this week. ODM leader Raila Odinga is, however, out of the country for medication. Odinga's family says he's expected in the country next week. The BBI team has been collecting views from Kenyans after the initial report was made public in November last year at the Bomas of Kenya and retreated to 2 weeks ago to start drafting its report. The team was mandated to come up with solutions on how to address the issues identified as key in building a stable and united Kenya. Elizabeth Mutuku, TV47 Nairobi.
Thank you, Elizabeth Mutuku, for that report. Remember, you're watching TV47 News Tonight with me, Abu Bakar Abdullahi. Time for us to take a short break. We'll be back with the discussion that I earlier promised. Our guest tonight is already in studio, Dr. Ekuru Aukot, who is the Third Way Alliance party leader. We'll be back with that discussion after this break.